Okay guys, we're going to go ahead and get started on the webinar. Again, this is Leah with Web Services, and today we're going to be taking a look at importing data through Customer Connect. Alrighty. So let's go ahead and get logged into Customer Connect. Alright, once you've logged in, you're going to come straight to the dashboard. And give it just a moment. We're using the developer's version of Customer Connect for this. We're not using the live version, which is why it's moving a little bit slower. There we go. All right, so once you're logged in from the dashboard, we're going to come up here to the top, and we're going to go to Tools and Settings. Okay, once we have come to Tools and Settings, we're going to come over and click the Import Data tab. Now, once you're on the Import Data page, just to show you what we're looking at, on the left-hand side, it's showing us the names of files that we have already imported at some point in the past. Right next to that, Customer Connect is telling you how many total records it found within that file. Next to that, it's telling you how many of those it was actually able to import and add to your database. And right past that, it's going to let you know how many it was not able to import for some reason or another. The reason that the ones up here we're seeing 0 imports is because these are ones that we had already uploaded in the past. Similar down here. If you notice on this one, 1787, we had 4 successful imports, but 1,783 were failed. And the reason is, again, a little bit lower down, we had already uploaded another version of that file that had those customers in there already. Right over here in Status, and it's going to show us what the progress is on the file, whether it's successful with errors, or in progress still. Right over here, it's showing us the link to bad file. And we'll come back to that in just a little bit. But when you click on that, it's going to give you a detailed view of the entries that it was not able to import and add to your database. And it will tell you the reason why it wasn't able to import those. All right, so from here, first thing we need to do is go over and find the file that we are going to import. For importing files, Customer Connect can handle spreadsheet files, just like an Excel file. There's one key difference, though, is that Customer Connect cannot import an Excel spreadsheet file directly. Before we actually go and try and upload it, we're going to need to change the format that the file is in, and we're going to change it from the standard Excel format to what's known as CSV, which stands for comma separated value. The reason for that is that a standard Excel file, once it's saved, is going to have formatting information in there. Fonts, colors, size of text, column lengths, and things like that, which Customer Connect cannot use. So by changing it to a CSV file, we are stripping everything out of there, all the formatting. It would just be in its most base form, letters, numbers, and that's about it. So once you have the file that you want to convert to a CSV file, if you notice up here across the top, we've got our dummy import list, and it is in Excel format, XLSX. So to convert it, we're going to come over to File, and we're going to choose Save As. And we're going to tell it where we want to save it in. Now once the Save As window has opened up, we're going to come down here to the Type, and we're going to hit the down arrow. And what we are looking for is right here, CSV, comma delimited, or CSV files. Now if you notice right down here, there's two additional types. Those other ones are for Mac or for the old DOS format. We're going to stick with the regular top one, CSV, comma delimited. So once we go ahead and click on that, we now have the file name, but it's showing us as CSV. So from here, we're going to go ahead and hit Save. As I've already got that file in there, I'm going to go ahead and overwrite the one I had from earlier. Okay. Now, one thing it's going to pop up and ask you is, it's going to let you know that some of those features in the workbook are going to be lost if you save it to a CSV file. What it means by that is things just like we mentioned before, the formatting. Types of fonts, colors, things of that nature cannot be saved in the CSV file. Another thing to be aware of is that while Excel can do different pages, different worksheets in here, a CSV file cannot handle that. So you will only be able to save one worksheet if you are converting it over. So you would need to save the other ones separately if you have the Excel file already set up that way. All right, so let's go ahead and click Yes. We want to continue using the CSV format. Okay, once we've got that saved, we're going to come back over to Customer Connect, and we're going to begin the upload process. I'm going to come right up here to Upload New File. Very first thing we're going to do when the screen comes up is it's going to ask us to choose a file type. 9 times out of 10, we're just going to leave it as CSV. There is one exception. If the file that we're uploading is a Kids Bowl free file directly from them, we're going to change the type of file to KBS. So for every other one, we're going to stick with CSV, but again, if this specifically is a Kids Bowl free file, we'll go ahead and change that because theirs are formatted a little bit differently, and Customer Connect knows how to handle those. So let's go ahead and stick with CSV. I'm going to click over here, Browse, and we're going to find the file that we are looking for, which in this case is the dummy import file I've created. And down here at the very bottom, it is asking us, is the first row the header of this file? And what it means by that is right up here. Row 1 has the information about what each column is. So if you have that in there, you want to go ahead and tell Customer Connect, yes, the first row is the header. If for whatever reason you don't and just start straight in with the data, you can tell it no. Now if you notice at this point, we don't really have anywhere to go. We can't go ahead and upload the file. It's not giving us any options or anything that we can do to move on. The reason for that is because we still have the file open in Excel. If you have the file that you are trying to upload still open in another program on your computer, it's not going to give the option of continuing. So we need to go ahead and close Excel and close the file out. And at this point, you don't need to save the data again. It's already been saved. So let's go back in real quick. Browse. We're looking for our import file, again, CSV. And now it's giving us the option to continue from right here. So as soon as you click Next, Customer Connect is going to pull all the data out of the spreadsheet, and it's going to show you each column, and it's also going to show you what it is automatically set each column as. So right here, first name matches up, last name, email address correct, phone number, and so on. Any column in here you're seeing that does not fit or you don't need, for example, like the FPAS column, you can tell Customer to Connect to ignore that column and it won't import that data. Since whatever the FPAS information is, Customer Connect doesn't use it, it's automatically going to set it to ignore. Date the customer was added, again, we will put as ignore. Once we have looked through all of these and we're all set, notice up here it's telling us the exact number of records that it found, 9 total. Before we continue, up here we've got the option of selecting groups, leagues, or events. This is going to give you the option of assigning all the customers in here to a specific league, interest group, event, or anything like that. So again, everybody who's in that file will get that added to their Customer Connect profile. If you were to choose them all as a league, it would assign everybody in that file as being from that league. One thing we always recommend is over here, which is name source. If you need to create a new name source, you'll click right here. What a name source does basically is it's just a way of identifying a group of data and where it came from. So for example, right here, center entered, we're basically telling it that that's information we entered manually at the center. Bowler track would have been from when we would get data coming from Bowler track and exported. Same thing with the Go Bowling or other items like that. If you need to create a new one, you'll give it a name over here. It'll ask you for a 3-letter abbreviation. If it matches something that's already over here in the list of name sources, it will automatically change the name to match that one right over here. We usually recommend this because, again, if there is any issue during the import of this file, having that specific name source gives us a way to go back through and identify every piece of data that came in during that import and can help us pull it out and correct it. All right, so from that point, go ahead and select the name source. And hit select. Once we're done selecting these, we're going to hit done at the bottom. And once we're all set and ready to go, we're going to go ahead and hit submit. Now it's going to pop up and tell us that it's got an alert that there's a problem importing the file. And right here it is telling us that in the mapping columns across the top, the headers, it has found duplicate sections. So we need to go ahead and correct that. If you guys look over right here on the right, because of the way that the file came in, it has 2 sections set as birth date for the customers. So we need to go ahead and get rid of one of those. Usually we recommend getting rid of the year. What you're going to want is one that just has the month and the year they were born in. So let's change that far column to ignore. So that data will not be imported, but if it has it over here, it will grab the month and the year of that customer's information. So let's go ahead and hit submit again. It's going to pop up and ask you the legal agreements that everything you're importing in there you're supposed to or allowed to be importing in. Go ahead and put a check mark in each of those. And you're going to go ahead and click done. It's going to let you know that it's received the records and processing will begin shortly. So let's go ahead and click OK from there. And it's going to take us back to the same spot as earlier. And the file that we have just imported is up here waiting in line. Notice that it says in progress and received, but it hasn't actually completed the processing just yet. All right, so once it is done processing, as we said earlier, if there are any issues during the import, it is going to create a file with those entries in them that we can come back and take a look at. As this one's still processing, we don't have a link to any bad data for it. So once that is finished, and you want to see which ones weren't imported, you'll go ahead and click here on Link to Bad File. Once it brings up the file, this is what you're going to be seeing. It's going to have all the information on each one that it was not able to add to your database. Usually you'll have to scroll over to the right to find this data a little bit just by grabbing the scroll bar down there. And you'll move it over to the right. It is going to show you the reason why it was not able to import that particular contact. For these, because they've been imported before and already in your database, it's telling you that person already existed in there and matched on 2 or more accounts. So that person was not imported into the database for that reason. And that covers it for importing data. We're going to go ahead and finish up and close off. And if we've got any questions at that point, we'll go ahead and take them and get you guys going. So just a moment and we'll start taking the questions. Questions. How to take questions.
Yeah, you know.
Mm-hmm. There we go. I missed showing the move. Okay, there we go. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, guys, if you got any questions, you can submit them through the webinar forum. We've got one up here. All right, will Customer Connect ever be able to put the month, date, and year for the birthday? It can do the month of the customer's birth, and it can do the year. At the moment, it is not designed to do the day, specific day of the month that customer was born in. Will it be able to in the future? I don't have an answer for you just yet. I don't know of any plans for it. If there's enough demand, it will be a feature that is added in eventually. Okay. Information, next question is information that is submitted to USB-C on the League's bowler certification. Is that an automatic import? Yes. If you have your USB certification set up in Customer Connect, then whenever you get your League's USB-C leagues sent off and processed by them, you will get notice that those are ready to be imported. Where you would go to find those is going to go back up to the dashboard screen, where we'll go real quick. If you have leagues from the USB-C that are ready to be processed, you would see an orange tab right here that says updates ready. And then you would click, go through and find that and go ahead and get them imported. But yes, those will come in automatically from the USB-C if you've got it set up with us. If you don't have that feature set up or you're not sure, give us a call at the support center, area code 817-385-8490, and we'll help you guys get that set up so the automatic updates come through. All right, do we have any other questions at the moment? Okay, from Ms. Vicki, what about website signups for information? Is it possible to have those submissions go directly to a specific file if we have a BPAA website? If you're referring to the website widget, which is where they can enter their information for and join your email club online, that information is sent directly to Customer Connect. And if you want to find out exactly who those people are or how you can pull them up, that's where you will use one of the name sources. So we'll hop over real fast and I'll show you how to pull those people up. We're going to go up here to your customer window. And for that, we're going to choose the advanced search with more options. And this is really good to see the value of the name source feature. So you'll go ahead and click down here. And if you look on here, you will find, depending on how you have it named, either the email list builder or the website widget, whichever one that you've named it as. It looks like in here it was set as, there we go, something like email club or website widget. Go ahead and select the name source. Click OK, and tell it to search. And it's going to pull up and show you exactly everyone who's come into your database via the website widget. All right, and next question, are the name source or segmenting groups unlimited? Yeah, you can create as many name sources as you like. We don't have a limit on it at the moment. If it does have a duplicate, for example, if you name one that's got website widget and then you create a similar one later with the same name, it would probably go ahead and put those together and treat them as the same one. Okay, anybody else have any questions? All right, we'll give it just a few more moments. All right, any other questions real fast before we finish things up? All right, I'm going to go ahead and put the companion document, make that available for you guys real quick. Give it just a moment. And okay, if you guys look over, will this be recorded and available later? Yes, it has been recorded, and it will be available on the BPAA Web Services and Customer Connect support page. And for that, you can go to bpaawebservices.com and find the support section, and you'll find the video in there. Yes, it will be recorded. If you guys look over on the left on the webinar, go to webinar page, you should have a file available under handouts, Customer Connect Webinar Importing Data Recap. You should be able to go ahead and save a copy of that. And it'll go over just some of the basic stuff that we went through in here. Any other questions before we go ahead and close up for the day? Okay, we're going to go ahead and call it an afternoon then. If you guys always, if you have any questions or issues, you can give us a call on the support line, and that's area code 817-385-8490. And we are available 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Central Time. Otherwise, thank you very much for joining us. Thanks for being a part of the BPAA. And you guys have a good evening. Thank you.
Good job, Leo.
Good thing I didn't stop recording for, yeah, I heard that from you.
Probably. Where is